to a brand new edition of the Show. Who knew we would be gone for so long? We're coming back. I'm Aaron, and as always, I'm joined by my cousin and co-host Landon. What's up, man?
What's up? Or I should say, good day. That's right. Good day. That's right.
Dude, we've just been talking kind of before we start recording. It's been several months. We're not sure how many months, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
definitely we definitely haven't recorded an episode this year. So
No.
welcome to 2025. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and to everyone for that matter. Yeah, I guess
Um,
I guess I should go ahead and just let the cat out of the bag and just say I was abducted by aliens and I am back now. I am back.
that's interesting. Did you have one of those nice experiences like Ryan Gosling has when he's on SNL, or a Kate McKinnon kind of experience uh
That is the
that was a little less pleasant?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think more of the Ryan Gosling. I
Good.
look forward to going back. It's kind of like a one-way thing. Like you can't choose to go. They have to come get you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You have to be available for that. I think it's a lot how you go into it. If you come kicking and screaming, it's kind of like what, Cousin Eddie says to Clark about the dog. It's best if he does lay into you, just best let him finish. Just go with the flow,
Just,
you know?
just ride it out. That's good advice. That's good advice. All right, folks at home, we don't have an agenda for today's show.
No.
We just thought that we would catch up with each other
Yeah.
because, when a few months pass by and we haven't really had a conversation, there's a lot that's been going on. So, like, I know, we'll definitely talk about, some of the same pop culture stuff that we typically talk about, but in this case, it'll be more of a hey, what have you been watching? What have you been reading? What have you been playing on the
Yes.
old PlayStation kind of thing?
Yes.
Because we've both, we lead separate lives, we live in separate states. So when we're doing things, we're not necessarily doing the same thing unless we plan to.
I
And
don't
since we
think we're
haven't
doing the same
spoken,
thing at all. I think we're
no.
actually doing quite opposite things, and that will be an interesting thing. I'm excited to hear about your things now, knowing that they're so different from mine, so I can get your take on them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Let's do categories. Like, why don't we
Categories.
why don't we do like different categories, and like we'll talk about like we'll start with some fun ones. Like we'll talk about shows or any movies or anything like that, and then games, and then maybe like a book or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, where do you want to start? You want to start with TV?
let's start with TV. Yeah. So
All
tell me
right, man.
what have you been watching, or what are you watching now, or what are you in the middle of watching now?
So I'm currently watching the third season of Reacher, which is
Reacher.
still hitting. I,
Alan
I don't know if there's yeah,
Richardson?
Richson.
Richardson. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if there's one episode left or two. Um, it feels like it's ramped up to the point where we've hit the climax, and so there should just be one episode left, but there may be two left. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's been really good. I've really enjoyed this season. I don't know. Have you watched it in the past?
I've only
Either of the first
watched
two
like
seasons?
two episodes of the show, like from the season one. Like I've only seen two episodes, but then other things came on and I just kind of got away. I intend to go back to it. I just haven't done that
Sure.
yet. So is it take a minute to get into, or should I have already been hooked from like the first episode and I just need to try again?
I mean, I would definitely, if it's been a while since you watched those first couple of episodes of the first season, start over.
Yeah.
Because it's very serialized. Like the season is based on one of the novels, right? And
Okay.
so like you really have to know what's going on from episode to episode.
Okay.
No, they give you the recap at the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode, but
Right, right,
that's
right.
not like, giving you everything you need to know. Now, I will say this. I liked episode no. Season 1 really a lot. Good English. I liked season 2, but it wasn't as good as season 1. Season 3 brings it back to form, I think.
No, okay.
So like, while there's some things that happen in season 2 that like are important, I would say if you didn't feel like watching season 2, you could skip to season 3
Yeah.
and be okay.
Yeah.
because it really is all self-contained.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's nice. I think you told me before that that the actor is better suited for the role by his physique than Tom Cruise, right? Like that he's like the description in the book. I haven't read the books, but the description in the books are more aligned with him. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Night and day difference. And like the way he's described in the book, he is a giant of a man.
Yeah.
Like he's huge, he's tall, he's built. And I'm not saying that Tom Cruise isn't in good shape. Like you can't say that about the man,
Yeah, he's a
especially for
little
his age,
yeah.
but he's the same height as me. And that's not tall. That's you know,
Is he still
uh
Jack from Legend? The little, the woodland forest dweller that hopped
basically,
around?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not who you picture as Jack Reacher when you're reading that book.
Yeah.
So when I saw the movies, when those two that he did came out, they're not bad movies.
Yeah.
He is not Jack Reacher.
Yeah, yeah. They should have called it something else and done something else with it. Yeah.
I
So
mean, he it's a real reach, uh,
a
to see him as Jack
reach.
Reacher.
It was a Jack Reacher.
Um,
So I'm now into a show that you've heard of, and I'm sure other people have heard of, but you said you haven't watched, which is Severance.
mhm.
And this is Ben Stiller's show, which immediately, if you start off that way and you're just like, yeah, Ben Stiller's show, Severance, anybody's going to be like Zoolander? Like you just don't really think like it's going to be like a serious, thriller drama.
Is he in the show?
He's not. No,
Okay,
but
so
it's his show.
he's written it, he's produced it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because I know
So
I saw Adam Scott
Adam Scott's
is
in it,
on it.
right. He's the
Okay,
main character. And it's also got oh gosh, who's that guy in the Batman movie, the new one with Pattinson? He plays the mob boss. He's also in, I think, was it Brother Out there? Thou? He's a famous actor.
John Turturro.
Yeah, that's the one, John Turturro. Yeah,
Yeah.
also like Transformers. Yeah, so he's in it. So those are kind of the big names. Christopher Walken comes into play as well in it. But it's enigmatic. It's an enigmatic show. It's one of these that you're just, what's going on? And the basic premise is that there is, in the world they're in, let's just say it's the future or whatever, people can actually go to an office and ride this elevator and their consciousness splits. And so their base persona goes down to work and do work tasks on a computer, or there's other things they do in different places. And that persona of them only knows that world. And when they get on the elevator, back on the elevator, the other part of them, the real part of them, actually goes, their outie, lives their life, goes and lives their life. So it's almost like, imagine you wanted to live your life full time all the time. And instead of sleeping, I suppose, or I don't know, or however you do it, or you just didn't want to remember work, you would go down this elevator and then you go do that, and then come out. So I'm sure you're
Hmm.
sleeping. I'm just saying, like, you're going in and your consciousness is split to fully be that work person, right?
That's fine. It sounds like remember Office Space?
Yeah,
It sounds like that, like where he goes to the hypnotherapist. He's like, can't you just like zonk me out to where I think I'm fishing all day, but really going to work and I
yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
remember going to work?
Yeah. So, but you kind of learn that there's this whole society that's been built or that's governed by the principles of someone called Kier. And just this philosophy of lifestyle is it's just bizarre. And you constantly don't really understand why people are doing what they're doing or why they allow certain things to happen. And you learn a little bit more about it as time goes on. So season one is incredible. And we had to wait a long while for season two. So season one ends in a crazy way. So if you get a chance, it's really good.
the thing about those Apple shows is that like they're always like I haven't seen one yet that I haven't absolutely fallen in love with,
Oh, me too.
and like they're so good, they're so well produced,
Well done.
but then it takes forever to get to the next
For the
season.
next season. Oh, I know. I
But
know.
hey, did you hear the good news? Ted Lasso
Ted
season
Lasso.
4 is coming.
Yeah. Thank you
That's
for
amazing.
listening to the fans. Because if you're like me, you didn't like how it ended. You didn't, it doesn't matter that people say, well, it's appropriate. It's appropriate how it ended. I think about Ozark. Ozark was appropriate in how it ended. It didn't mean it ended the way I wanted it to end. You know what I mean? So it's like, I won't spoil things, but I just want to say certain people were supposed to get back together and certain somebody was supposed to be happy at the end of it. You know what I mean? And, and getting into a car and driving away in a melancholy way is not, it may be appropriate, but it's not what we want.
Wait, are we
What
talking Ozark or Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso, Tezark.
Ted Zark.
Tezark.
So the certain people who are supposed to get back together, I'll agree with you on that one. But the certain somebody who's supposed to be happy. Are we talking about Ted?
We're talking about Ted.
He was happy.
I
He was
don't
back with his
think he was.
family.
No, 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 not
Sure.
no, no, no.
Sure. He was back with his family. He was back with his
Yeah.
son, and that's what was important to him. That's what he decided was
Okay, well
necessary.
then let us go and see them at the end in one clip going and playing in the park and him smiling and laughing. You just basically everything in his positivity in the entire show by him at the end of the day becoming some melancholy figure. I mean, his interactions with people reminded me of Pollyanna's ending. You know what I mean? It's like she falls. She's been happy the entire movie. She falls. She's broken. She's going to the doctor. Now the whole town is trying to cheer her up. And instead of having this moment where she's like, I am going to play the glad game. You know what I mean? No, no, she's got to be like, yeah, great, good. I'm
Yeah,
going to go
put her
get
on the
work
train.
on.
Let's get her out of here.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was with Ted. I'm like, come on. Come on, Ted. If you were so positive as a defense mechanism, and that's what we understand, okay, then show us you being positive genuinely. And maybe that's what the showrunners say. This is real Ted happy.
This is so. I think
I'm
the thing
happy.
is, Ted was the influence for everybody else, and so everyone else got their happy ending, and
I know,
he
it's
went on to live
Pollyanna.
his life.
It's Pollyanna. It's exactly Pollyanna. We just watched Pollyanna through all those seasons. Now we get to have it come back. And by heaven, he better be a genuine, more happy and a great. I need some real Ted. I don't need some broken Ted. I need some real Ted.
I need him to get together with Sassy. Just make that happen. They're
You know
good
what?
together.
I think so. I think she's a good influence on him from an unstructured, you know, kind of a crazy person. You
She was
know?
absolutely right when he asked her out there in the third season, and she laughed and she said, "No, you're a mess." And she was right. She was absolutely right. But let's have him come back from the States after a couple of years of introspection and realizing that he and Michelle are never getting back together because okay, I still think that counselor dude should be brought up on charges. uh
Seriously.
he needs to lose his license immediately. uh
Absolutely.
but
That would happen in any state, as we both know.
seriously,
That would happen. You're not allowed to do
it
that.
still makes me mad.
3 to 5 years is the rule, really.
Jeez.
Just saying.
um anyway, so Ted Lasso's coming back, so that's great.
All right. Sorry.
um
Yes, we went on a tangent. All right, fandom.
so
If you really, you might feel differently than I do, but for some of you, you might agree that Ted Lasso's ending was too much like Pollyanna, and it needs to be redone. Thank you. I rest my case. All right. What's another one?
1923, been watching that.
I have not watched that yet.
It's really good.
I like
I
both of
so
them, but I haven't watched it.
I love Helen Mirren. First of all, she's my old lady crush.
There you go.
um and she's great in it. Harrison Ford's great in it, and it really does a lot to expand that world of Yellowstone, which I still haven't finished.
I haven't
I
either.
think it is the final episodes hit Peacock today. So why am I sitting here talking to you instead of binging the last six episodes? No, I'm kidding. No, I do plan on watching that probably this week, just so I can finally see how it ends.
Yeah.
Um, but still able to watch this spinoff series. I think this is it. Like they're just doing this second season of 1923, and then they're gonna move on.
Well, you think so? Yeah, I want to watch it too. I liked 1883,
Yeah.
um, and I thought that was good. So I kind of was thinking I need to be in a mood for 1923, but I gotta watch it on Peacock, or can I watch somewhere else?
No, so
Paramount?
1923 is on Paramount.
Oh, good. Then I can't watch it. I don't have
Yeah.
Peacock now. I flip. I go around.
They so I don't know if you know they brought in Timothy Dalton. He's on the show too.
Really
Excellent villain. He
nice.
is the epitome of the evil uh robber baron type
Oh, nice.
character. He is
That's
fantastic.
that's I think about him from The Rocketeer. He was a great
Oh,
bad guy in The Rocketeer. Remember that?
he is more evil than Neville Sinclair ever could have been.
Neville Sinclair. Good job. Good job. I have a friend who knows him. I always wanted to meet him at my red phone booth in Atlanta that I would go to. Him and there's a few celebrities that I had that come through that I've always been like, oh man, I want to meet them. I hope I'm there when they're there. So,
It'd be cool to meet. He was
um,
James Bond.
yeah, he was a Bond. Some people are like he was the best Bond, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know about
I don't
that.
know about that.
Yeah, but some people are
Did you forget
diehard
that Sean
Bond.
Connery existed?
I think that they missed out on, yeah, because he is the best Bond. The other one, so I'll just say the other two so we can move on. But the other two that I'm watching are Yellow Jackets. Put your seatbelt on, because that show is crazy. They are crazy. They are crazy. I enjoy it though. I enjoy seeing crazy people. I just crazy, crazy.
Been debating watching that because now I know, like I don't have the additional like Showtime
Yeah,
with Paramount Plus,
yeah,
but I do have Paramount Plus. But the first season is available to anybody who has
yeah,
Paramount Plus now.
yeah.
So I've thought about watching that, but then I'm like, do I want to just watch season one and then have to wait for the
No, no,
rest of it?
no. They've got they've you've got multiple seasons now. You can watch three. It's season three now is what's out.
You just
And
have Showtime.
oh, but you have to Showtime. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Season one is only available
Oh,
to
but season
the
two is not,
regular.
even though three is. Okay, got it.
No, yeah,
Well, what I would say that I've always appreciated the adult child thing. Stephen King, does it well with it, right? For us, we get to
right.
see the child adult thing. So I really like that. I actually like the adult storyline way more than the, them in the woods storyline. Because them in the woods storyline, I'm always like, stop eating mushrooms. It's not, you should stop that. You shouldn't do it. Mm-mm. You know what I mean?
Very
But
Lord of the Flies to me.
it's very 100% Lord of the Flies. They're taking a little too long to get to the point of that storyline, whereas you have stuff. I mean, Christina Ricci, she's incredible as in the adult version. I mean, she's doink, but she's and then you also get Elijah Wood, and he is perfect counterpart to her. They are the perfect little storyline together. Anyway, you that alone is worth watching the show just to watch them.
Even if I can just watch the first season right now, that I should do it.
Yeah, you won't get Elijah Wood, but yeah, I think you should. I think it would wet the whistle. I also think it's a show you need to take in doses because there's some parts of it you're just like, "Bleh." You
So
you
it'd be
like
good to have a hiatus.
there's some, yeah, it's good to have a hiatus. The other one is I decided to start watching White Lotus, just the popularity of it. And then you started having star-studded cast,
Hmm.
and each season it's almost like an Agatha Christie novel
Right.
with a whodunit kind of a thing that everything ties in the end to something. but it's a little it's definitely not for kids. It's like it's got adult themes, language, some seedy things that you're just like, and every once in a while there's like a shot of some body part that you don't need to really see. You know what I mean? It was just completely unnecessary, and just sometimes I think HBO is just like, hey, wow, look at us. We can make things, we can show things. Wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
You're
just
talking
like
about
showing
penises, aren't you? They're
I am.
just a
I am.
penis everywhere,
I
here
am.
and there.
I'm just like, what? Why? It's like you're trying to make a statement. You're trying to say, like, look what we can do. We can show that.
Uh, I think it's almost like it's an equal opportunity thing. We've been showing you boobs for years.
Now we can show you. You know, the other thing too, I think about like Game of Thrones and how I would I would love for my kids to be able to watch Game of Thrones, but I just can't. I can't do it. I
Yeah,
thought maybe I'll just edit it or try to like stop. I can't. I can't even do that. And so they will not be. So they're asking me, well, when can we watch Game of Thrones? Because we know you love it so much. And
when
I'm
you're
like,
40.
yeah, I said not till you're married, actually. I said I don't condone you watching Game of Thrones till you're married because it is way too graphic for someone who's not married to, and no offense to you, Aaron. I'm
I'm
just
not
saying,
married. I've seen
like,
the whole thing.
I just say I'm for them and their sense until they become at a certain graduated level of anyway.
What if the rule becomes after they've had sex education or after you guys have had the talk
I don't think
with
I
programs?
I think I want to get out of my responsibility for them. You know what I mean? I think that's where at the point at which they're like 21 and it's like now all the life choices you make are solely your fault. You know what I mean? So or to your benefit, you know? So
Oh
like for
man,
you,
that's crazy.
you're unmarried, I'd be like, of course you should watch Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? But you get to make your own choices and live with them. So there.
I'm a grown up. Do what I want.
All right,
Oh
so what else?
man.
Games.
Games. We're talking to the video kind.
Yeah. PlayStation says you've been playing Black Flag.
Assassin's Creed, dude.
I
I've
love that you're
so
playing that.
that has been it's one of those things where like I'm subscribed to PlayStation Plus, and it's like you've got access to all these old games that
Yeah.
you can stream like regularly. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all these years, I played the original Assassin's Creed when it first came out on the
Yeah.
PS2, or was it two or three? Three.
Oh, okay.
Years and years ago, I played through it, loved it. Thought it was a great game. I played Assassin's Creed 2 up to the part where you meet Ezio's Uncle Mario. And he comes out and said, "It's a me, Mario." Like, because he had to, right? And I'm like, nope, this is cheesy. I don't want to play this anymore. And so I stopped playing it. But then I was like, that was a stupid reason to not play it because these games still look brilliant to this
It's
day. And so I'm like, you know
so
what?
good.
I'm gonna start playing through.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through the main line. So I played the Ezio trilogy.
That's
I
so good.
played Assassin's Creed 3,
Did you
and
like
then
three?
I did like 3.
I loved three, but
Um,
growing up in Virginia for us, we had Colonial, Williamsburg, all that stuff, and so to me, it was like seeing all of that was really cool. I loved
yeah,
it.
I thought it was fascinating. I loved playing in the colonies,
Yeah,
being in areas that were familiar.
yeah,
Um, I loved so I it took me a while to get used to the naval battles,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and doing the ship. I wasn't sure if I liked that much, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to play 4 because I know it integrates more and more of that because you're a freaking pirate.
Oh, but
So then,
it's so
but I
wonderful and
played.
more.
So the version of 3 that you get with PlayStation Plus
Yeah.
comes with Assassin's Creed Liberation, which I think was a PS Vita game,
Oh, okay,
and so they completely remastered it so you could play it on the console,
okay,
and it was really good. Like it takes
okay.
place in New Orleans. You
Yeah,
play the daughter of a slave
yeah.
who is an assassin, and I thought it was great. And each one of these games, the not only do the graphics get better, but I feel like
The
the
play,
the
the
fighting
fighting style. Yeah,
techniques
yeah,
get better, the
yeah.
control gets better. Uh even the story in a lot of ways. It's like now I'm at the point where it's like, all right, this pirate that I'm playing as, I'm still in the beginning of this game, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm just in Nassau right now. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not too far into it. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know this guy, he's not really an assassin. He just stole an assassin's
That's right.
clothes.
That's right.
And he's meeting up with Templars
Yeah.
and going behind the back of the assassin. So like, what is he? Is he an assassin? Is he a Templar? And I know he is Connor's grandfather.
Yeah.
So his son is going to be an assassin who becomes a Templar,
Right.
and then Connor is going to be an assassin
Right.
who kills his father, the Templar. It's
Right.
just like this whole thing. Who are the good guys anymore?
Yeah.
Like in
You're
Assassin's Creed, the
interwoven.
original one, you're thinking, all right, the Templars are the bad guys. They want to take over the world and control
Right.
everything,
Right.
and
Right.
I want freedom for everybody. But now it's just like, seriously, who am I really fighting for? Because now, in the present day, I'm just some guy at Abstergo,
Yeah.
and those are the Templars.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah. How are you an employee? And that's a cool storyline in itself. You know, Black Flag was the last Assassin's Creed game before Valhalla that I really enjoyed. Um, so, the other games, I mean, you've got Syndicate, I enjoyed in its own respect. I mean, there's some elements that are good in it. Um, and you might feel differently because everybody has different tastes on stuff like that. Origins, Odyssey, some people really love it, especially because they love the beauty of it. But they started messing with game mechanics and fighting styles just to try to vary things up in some of these games, and it made it frustrating because one of the things that I've always loved is the parry. Like the parry hit, everything
Hmm.
kind of stops, and then bam, bam. You know what I mean? That was always a favorite of mine because you could literally take on like 50 guys and just spend time grinding with parry. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
so you don't always have that, but Valhalla is a pretty incredible game. I don't know about the new ones that's just been released, or it's about to be released.
Shadows.
Yeah, Shadows. I think it's just released now. Um, got so much out of Ghost of Tsushima. When I beat that, and I worked pretty hard on that game. I'm looking at it and going, this just seems like it's an attempt to be Ghost of Tsushima.
Hmm.
So well, again, for me, it's a lot about the game mechanics and the fighting ability. So, but regardless, if you play them all, they absolutely get more and more gorgeous over time
Yeah,
from the graphics.
that's what you got. I keep telling myself like, well, of course they're going to get better because the graphics keep improving with
Yeah,
each generation,
yeah,
and so it's just like, well, duh, that's
yeah.
a no brainer. Um, One thing like, and don't spoil it for me if they've decided to mess it up at some point, but the parkour stuff, I love it.
Oh
Climbing
yeah.
up buildings, just running from rooftop to rooftop, just keep it coming.
Yeah. For the most part, I mean, you pretty much that is a staple of Assassin's Creed, for you to be able to do, and do more, to do more options, in that regard.
We'll see this the in three where like one of the side things you could do was like try and catch almanac pages from like Benjamin Franklin's got they're scattered all over the place and they float away from you. Like, all right, that was real stupid. I hated it because I could never catch them. Uh, but they've made it easier with the sea
Yeah,
shanties
yeah, yeah,
in Black Flag.
yeah,
And so I'm like, all right, this is kind of fun. You're
yeah,
finding the right path to go on and catch the
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. No, that could be fun. I think the last one I played was Mirage, and it was okay. It was
Where
just,
does that one take place?
um, so I think it's somewhere in the Middle East or something like that, I think. So, but Origins, you get to see a lot of cool places in Egypt. You know, sorry, I'm looking at them all here. I've got, um, but I mean, Origins, Syndicate, Odyssey, Unity. Unity. What was Unity? I don't even remember what Unity was. Anyway, so yeah, you got a lot of fun ones. All right, so I'm knee deep in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, boy,
I've got to tell you, oh, this
where you
game.
at?
So I've done 100% completion on the grasslands. So
Excellent.
I
Dude, that's
cannot.
hard too.
I do all of it. I cannot stop. Like
Yeah.
I want to
No,
dominate an
it's
entire area.
because if you try to move on, like you'll get caught up in other stuff. Now, I will warn you, there's gonna be like you'll come to places where you're not gonna be able to do 100% until you move on to the next part of the story, and then you
Oh,
got
and
to
you
come
got to come
back.
back. Yeah, yeah,
And it's
that's
so
fine.
annoying. It is
Yeah,
so annoying
yeah,
because I did like you did. Like grasslands, that's the first
yeah.
big section
First
you're in,
big
right?
section. Yeah.
Yeah. That I did 100% there, moved on, and did 100% in the first part of the next area. And now I just can't think of names, but um yeah, it's later on in the game when you get to a certain place, it's like, why can't I find the things I need to find? And it's because it won't let you.
Well, this was a game that, took a while for the second part to come out for Rebirth after, Remake came out. And while I liked Remake and just the homage it did to the first one and also the variation and just like kept you on your toes a little bit, it was so linear. It was so linear and going through boards. And there's just whole sections where you'd walk down an entire street to get to like just to explore and there would be nothing there for you. Nothing. And it was so frustrating. There's just like I had to pick it up probably three, maybe four times to try to get back into it, just to try to get to finish it. It was also pretty confusing. And the game mechanics by the end of it, I kind of got used to how that was. And I liked it. I liked it along the way. That being said, this game is so like I have fallen in love with this game just from playing the grasslands. The tutorial was incredible. For if you go and you do the little kids, first of all, I kind of did things out of order, which is normal for me. Like I got to the grasslands, I mapped the entire grasslands on foot. Like I went to everywhere on foot, not realizing later that I would get chocobos that would, you know, take me everywhere, and that would have been way faster. But I'm still thankful because I got to fight everything along the way
Yeah.
anyway, and I just got a whole lot of experience. So that's one. But also, just the open world reminds me of Final Fantasy 10. When I first played Final Fantasy 10 and just had that. I mean, all of them, a lot of them have open world, but this just the open field aspect, you know?
This one, I feel like this one gives you a different perspective on what the open world in Final Fantasy looks like.
Yeah.
Like I think the closest to open world that we get on the mainline titles is 15,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
because that one truly is, I thought, was a true open world
Right.
scenario where like
Right.
you can go anywhere at
Yeah.
any time.
Yeah.
But like this is I feel like that same way where when you're introduced to a new area, you have this whole new sandbox to play in,
You get to go
and
wherever you want to go.
there's just so much to do. It's not just like, hey, we got a couple little side quests for you to do here. No, you have an entire, like, I don't know, and it's huge. It's not like you're in this small area
No, yeah,
of they give you to walk from one end to the other. If you walk from one end of the grasslands to the other, you're
yeah,
you're talking about a good half hour,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
of gameplay.
Well, and they reward explorers. Like the amount, it is a luscious place where you can pick up as much resources as you want. And
Hmm.
once you have the item transmuter, you're not hurting for, potions, Phoenix
Right.
down, softs, things like that, elixirs. You really can if you put in the time and you hit that triangle button every time you cross over one. Also, the nice thing is if you're on a chocobo and you go over a patch of four of those, you just hit the button once and it picks them all up.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because like I am more motivated to grind to get to high levels and just fight everyone for a like I'll just play the game with no intention of doing anything story wise. I just want to go fight stuff. You know what I mean? And if I do that, I'm rewarded in a way where I'm not sitting here thinking, "Oh, now I got to use one of my remaining cushions to be able to refill myself. And it's like I can play,
Yeah.
you know. I think that's really important. They did a really, I mean, it could very well be one of my favorite Final Fantasy games.
Mm. This place you get the golden saucer.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
It
that's
is so
great.
like, oh my gosh. Like you are literally you are just peeling away the first couple of pages of this huge novel. And
Oh,
and
that's
you are
great.
you are so far from the end. It's incredible.
Well, the funny
Um
thing too, Aaron, is like I was looking at my game progress because I was like, I have mastered this entire area. I wonder how far in the game I am. And it said 12%. And I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. You've just scratched the surface, my friend. You are so far. Oh my gosh. Like you are gonna love. Mm, I wish I was in your shoes because then I could experience it again for the first time. It
Yeah,
is such a great game. Like
yeah,
every aspect of it. Um the only part of the game I think that I have felt frustrated by, and we're just talking side quests here, when you play the piano. Have you done any of that yet? None
no.
of the piano stuff?
Wait, there was a one piano section in a flashback at the very, very beginning of the game.
Okay, yeah. So when you're in Nibelheim for the first time,
Yeah,
when you and Sephiroth you're fighting together and you're still on the same team, and
yeah.
yeah, you go to Tifa's house
Yes,
as
that's
part of
the
your
one. Yeah,
memory,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and you have the option to play the piano there. Well, that becomes a thing where you pick up new pieces of music, and it's music from the game. Like it's
Yeah,
you get Tifa's theme and
yeah, yeah.
Barrett's theme, things like that. And you play them on the piano, but it is a challenging mini game.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
Well, it's almost like some of the games that, like I think about, was it Final Fantasy 15 where you do the fishing, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And then so you could get good at it, but then there were some of them you're just like, this is garbage. Why would I play this game ever? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I thank you for letting me know ahead of time. I will
I'll tell
prepare
you,
myself.
what's a lot of fun is chocobo racing.
Well, when you say that, it actually like I'm just having it's like a trigger word because it takes me back to Final Fantasy X and trying to get, the ultimate weapon for Cloud. That was a horrific, scary, awful experience that I could
Yeah,
never duplicate.
nothing like that. This
Okay,
is
so
this
this will be
is
wonderful. It'll be good.
this is so much fun.
Okay. All
It
right.
does get challenging when you get into the upper levels, but it is so much fun. It's almost like playing Mario Kart, but you're riding
Oh
a
yeah.
giant chicken.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. All right. All right. So you're giving me hope. Maybe I can work through my PTSD from Final Fantasy X. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
so that's the main things. I mean, I have a few games that I'm playing with the kids. Playing Detroit Human, Become Human with my daughter. I've already beaten it before, but it's a really cool game because social justice and stuff like that. It's really a great game for that. And then there's these games that have kind of the choose your own adventure kind of games. That's a series. Can't remember what they're called, but it's like a little skull. Like they have, oh gosh, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're on the PlayStation Store where you can get them for free with the membership. But they're games where you choose directions and it affects your relationships, and they're all kind of thriller type games. You have this curator guy who is um, who is kind of governing like the storyline with you. Have you
Is
heard of
this
these?
are these like
Kind of
we're
like
not
an
talking about like
Until
Until
Dawn,
Dawn?
kind of like that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's it's a different series, but it's a Until Dawn is like that, which they're making a movie out of.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm gonna look that up while we're talking to see what game, because I think it's a series that's very interesting. I've enjoyed it. I'm playing one of them with my son, and he's really liking that. So yeah.
Dude, Until Dawn messed me up.
Until Dawn mess you up. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I I don't
Oh,
know why I
it's
thought it was a good
called
idea, but the first time I played it, it was the middle of the night. I was like, I can do this.
the Dark Pictures anthology. So he and I are playing House of Ashes. It's got Ashley Tyndale as the Tinsdale as the person, and then Sydney and I play The Devil in Me, which is a the serial killer thriller. So these are you should check these out, Aaron. I think you would be interested in
What'd you say they're called?
so you should play The Devil in Me. It's by it's one of the PlayStation Plus games. I started Star Wars Outlaws and I had to put it down because I was losing brain cells and bored. So I will
Is it
try
not a
that.
good game?
I don't know. I mean, it's just
The trailer made it look good, but the
yeah,
trailer can make anything look good.
yeah. Maybe I just need to progress farther in it. And then I played Black Myth Wukong until I could not anymore. I mean, until it was too hard. I mean, some of these games, man, I maybe it's my age. I lack the ability to ascend to that gaming level.
There's too
Elden
many
Ring,
buttons.
yeah, Elden Ring couldn't finish that one. Just you know,
I think I've reached the point where like if the game doesn't hook me like right away, I'm not going to be interested. Um, and if it's not a Final Fantasy game, there's a good chance I'm not going to be interested.
yeah,
Um,
it's gotta grab you. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
like I'll say this. I've got the Nintendo Switch. I got the just the handheld one.
Yeah,
What's that one called? The Switch Lite or whatever.
yeah.
Um, and I bought Mario Odyssey to have with it so that because
Couldn't do
why
it
not?
either.
You got to have a Mario game.
Yeah.
I got to the second, I think the second world or whatever, that like where you're in the desert, I think,
Yep.
and I'm done.
Same.
I can't
Same.
play it. This is stupid. I don't want to throw my hat at other things and become a frog or whatever. I can't do this.
And
I
where am I
want a
supposed to go? Where
yeah,
am I
right?
supposed to go?
Okay, open world works great for Final Fantasy, not for a Super Mario game. I want to go from left to right, jump on a flagpole, and be done.
I'm okay with it when it was Mario World when it had the stars, but it was finite. You couldn't go beyond certain areas. Like I'm with you. I could not get past that section.
The last Mario game that I really appreciated, aside from like new Super Mario Brothers, like where it's a 2D platforming kind of thing. The last 3D Mario game that I could appreciate was Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Because it was an interesting way to do like you had the gravity dynamics,
Yeah.
um, and that was neat. Uh, but this Odyssey thing just it no, I can't do it.
Well, I think when you're doing things like I remember playing Metroid Dread, you know, and thinking to myself, this is both honoring to the original, it honors Super Metroid for sure, and it's got new dynamics that are freaking hard. But once you master them, almost like almost like Legend of Zelda Breath of Wild, when you had to learn how to again parry. You know, that skill you had to it took a minute to learn it. But once you learned it, it would be your governing force of succeeding in the game, even to the very end.
Right.
So in the same way, like if you're going to take a classic and you're going to, you're gonna try to make a revamp or suit or something, you gotta honor the past, one, but you've got to be able to, if you're going to take anything and you're going to create anything that's going to be new, it's got to be something that people can quickly adapt to, and then just through practice on that one thing, that very practical thing, that will propel them into the next one. Otherwise you're just getting into this whole world of throwing hats. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like, is this Mario? What is this game? You know?
No,
I'm with you.
yeah, doesn't make any sense.
All right, so let me ask you a question. I had this cool email. I get emails all the time with work, which by the way, I'm actually starting a new venture. I started a business, and
Oh
that's why
yeah.
it says MC Nexus down there. So I have a new business where a friend of mine and
So you're
I,
not a DJ.
I'm not a DJ. No, MC Nexus. So this was my second choice was to start a business, a consulting business. First choice was DJ or rapper,
Mm.
or a DJ rapper. But no. So second choice, consulting and helping businesses that are trying to break into the gift industry and toy industry and like, get into B2B selling, and helping them to be able to do that. So that's what I'm doing, now. But normally in my former job, when I was leading a sales team for a tech company, I would get all these emails that were trying to get me to click on something. We'll give you leads. We'll give you sales people. We'll do all these things. I got one that said live action Legend of Zelda and the subject. And I was like, oh, I'm clicking on that. You know what I mean?
I don't
And so
care if
I
I get 1,000
uh,
viruses. I'm clicking it.
hey, I didn't click anything in it, but I opened the email. So and the guy was like, "Hey, saw you on blah blah blah," and figured I don't know if you're a gamer taking a wild shot in the dark here, but did you hear that Netflix is thinking about doing the whatever? And then he went to his pitch. But I thought, first of all, that was cool that you got me. I don't know if you're at this age range for me, just you're like I don't know 50-50 or maybe 80-20. Who knows what you got? But that was smart. But then I thought to myself, like, for real? Are we there? Are we at the place where Legend of Zelda could be a live action movie or show? Are we there? Do you know anything more?
I haven't heard anything. I think we're there. Like it can be done if you get the right people, the right creators behind it. Absolutely, it can be done.
None.
Because you think about what 20 years ago, they're making Lord of the Rings, right? 25 years ago now, they're making Lord of the Rings, and people are telling us this is a series of books that cannot be made into a live action movie.
And
It
yet,
cannot be done.
and
And
yet,
yet it has become one of the most beloved trilogies
yeah,
of all time.
yeah.
Now,
Mm.
I won't go to where the Hobbit went, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy is beyond contestation, right? And so I think if you got the right people, again, to do it, I'm not saying Peter Jackson,
Yeah.
but someone with that mindset who can go in there and pay homage to the source material. I'm not saying we need to have an overhead view of Link going through Hyrule the entire time.
Right.
That's not the kind of homage I'm looking for. But like, have it come in there and take it seriously. You can have a really well done live action Legend of Zelda. I
Yeah, and I think if you do it with Ganondorf, then you can accomplish it. I don't think you can do it with just Ganon. I think Arch Nemesis. Now that we've had a Thanos, it's almost like I mean, you gotta slow build into a big bad guy for us to give them actually enough credibility to feel like they're menacing enough. The threat of destroying something or taking over something or enslaving the people, you're gonna have to have more than that. You're gonna have to have a build, So I just don't know what his voice would be like because it's like
I don't want to hear it. I don't want
I
to hear it.
know. Let's
I
just make
want
him
I,
not talk the entire time.
for whatever reason, Link needs to be mute. Like, did he have an accident as a child? Did he lose his voice? Did he make a promise to a sea witch? I don't care. Let's just get rid of his voice so he doesn't have to talk and we never have to say,
That
"Excuse me, princess."
I think
None of
that
that.
is
I don't want any of
extremely
that.
wise. No, no
I
voice.
will I will personally murder someone if that's what we're getting.
I don't. I think that you probably shouldn't admit to that ahead of time, but whatever.
Okay. I take it back. I know this is on the internet and you can't take stuff like that back, but
Ron Weasley murder, like like how they say in the British kids, they'll say "murder me, Harry." You know what I mean? It's just like they don't. You weren't meaning it like a.
no, I didn't mean it at all. It was
Um,
slang.
Metroid. I think we're itching for a Metroid. When you're trying to do alien movies left and right all the time to try to come back to your glory, and you're creating an alien Earth, which may or may not be good, but it's like people want Samus, and they don't even know it. They don't
Yeah.
even know it. They want it and they don't even know it. And you're now able to make a Ridley that would be awesome.
Here's the problem with Metroid, though. You would have people coming out left and right calling it derivative of Alien. Of
True.
course it is. It was made to kind of mirror that feeling you got when you were watching Alien. Like you're playing through this game,
Yeah.
and that's the point. Like it's meant to be you alone on this dark planet,
Yeah.
uh, in these dark corridors, and oh, there's an alien that's trying to suck your life out.
There needs to be more silence and things like that. I think about when they've made movies like Doom. Remember when they tried to make Doom, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just so like in
The
your
mistake
face,
with Doom
crazy.
was they cast The Rock for one thing as your lead.
Yeah.
Doom shouldn't have been a straight up action movie. It should have been a horror movie.
It should have been a horror movie. You also think about like even Resident Evil. Oh, while I enjoyed Resident Evil the movie by itself, I really wish it wasn't tied to Resident Evil because Resident Evil could have been like they only spent like 2 seconds in the mansion. You know what I mean? And that is the big part of the game,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
getting in there and then working your way down. So there's like things when you do it, you gotta take your time. And you don't need to talk every 2 seconds. You don't need to have some character that's a loudmouth, aggressive person. You can have it's almost like you have token people in these action movies that are always the same. And it's like just take the girl, put her on the planet, stick with the premise, have her walk and discover as she's going, and it just gets bigger. It gets bigger. You don't need a whole lot of talking.
But then that's so you'd run into the problem though of people saying, why isn't there any dialogue? Why isn't anybody saying anything in this movie? Now, in some movies that works. There was a recent movie on Hulu, I think. I think it was like no one's gonna save you or something like that. It was an alien abduction movie, or an alien invasion movie, and but there was like zero dialogue the entire movie. It worked. It was
Yeah.
really well done. Um,
Well, or
but
Quiet Place. Quiet Place had extremely limited, dialogue, in the entire, but it still conveyed, it's just dialogue
so
can be
again, it comes
overdone.
down to the creators and can they make it work? Are they
Yeah.
creative enough to give us a visual story that doesn't require a lot of exposition?
Yeah. And I think that's what's needed. I also think that, in light of things like these Apple shows that are coming out, and they can be a slow burn a little bit, but you're only in it for like a certain number of episodes. So I think when you're in a series, especially, and I'm such a series fan, way more than movies at this point now. So I look at Harry Potter, for example, and I think, yes, yes, you are going to take your time and do that book, and you're going to take your time in character development, and that isn't going to happen by a whole insane amount of exposition. It's actually going to happen with more scenes, more moments, more reflecting, because you just don't have that much to say in that
Yeah.
many. You just
Yeah.
fill it in.
It's I think it's important if you in a visual medium like movies are, you should be able to tell as much in the silence between the words as you can with the dialogue.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%.
I'm not saying, go completely dialogue free every time. I mean,
No,
that's because dialogue has its place,
sit in
exposition
the
has its
silence, right?
place,
Sit in the
but the
silence.
sound of silence is
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
And especially in something like Metroid, where you're talking about a horror movie. I don't necessarily so some horror movies need the score, right?
yeah,
Halloween. If you watch Halloween without John Carpenter's score in the background, it's a comedy. But if you watch it with the score, you're jumping
yeah,
because the music tells you when to be scared.
yeah.
But in a visual thing like in Metroid, you don't need the music. You don't need any extra clues on when to be scared
No,
because these things come out of nowhere and scare you.
right, right. In fact, I would even go so far as to say the game Super Metroid. gets a little campy with the music, just as the original did. But then you go into a room where it's completely silent
Hmm.
and you're like,
It's
you
like,
know,
oh crap, what's about to happen?
oh.
Yeah,
I
you walk
mean,
into a silent room. It's like, am I about to die?
yeah, that's exactly right. So, I think there's things like that that can be really, really good in how you use music, but I personally think that there's too much dialogue in 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 movies and stuff today. So or in at least action movies and stuff. I want more. I want more. Well, I mean, look at John Wick and why John Wick is so popular. It's not because everybody loves hearing Keanu Reeves talk. Although I know it's cool, you know,
Yeah.
dude, you know, it's the story, it's things like that. Or even Harrison Ford. You look at Harrison Ford. I get so much out of Harrison Ford's facial expressions than I ever do from anything he's ever said. You know?
My plane.
Yeah, get off my plane. Well, that
Um,
was a good catch up.
yeah, yeah. Anything else going on? Personal life kind of stuff you want to
Well,
share on the
the
podcast?
job change, right? So, I'm making that big change here, and I think that's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. Just launching that right now. So, yeah, right at the beginning, like just right now.
Nice.
And then in addition to that, I don't know that I've said it on here, but as you know, I'm getting a degree in clinical mental health counseling as well with Liberty University. So I'm kind of in the middle of that. And so goal is to consult businesses, but also be a counselor for the South Carolina community because there's just not enough counselors here.
Cool, cool, cool.
You? What's
I wrote
going
a
on with you?
novel.
You wrote a novel. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually written two now.
Yeah.
Something about like doing that first one unlocked something in me, and so the first one I haven't touched. I haven't looked at it since I revised it back in maybe December. I've got one friend who's reading it very slowly. She's just taking it one chapter at a time and then letting me know what she thinks with each chapter. And so I'm taking that to heart. And once she's done, I'll go back and do another revision and see like what needs to change,
Yeah.
fill in any plot holes. Uh, I sent it out to several people to read it, but she and one other person are the only ones who've given me any feedback yet. Um, but then in January, I found a writing prompt that I was just gonna do a little short story on my blog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it was like what would happen if a wizard and a gunfighter uh came or like got into a fight or something.
Ooh.
And I was like, that would be interesting. Someone bringing a magic wand to a gunfight.
Yeah.
And
It's
so I wrote a short
Walter.
story.
Walter is who you were thinking about. Walter from the
Walter.
Gunslinger. When you did your Marco Polo with me, it's Walter from the Gunslinger was the man in black.
Oh,
Yeah, with Roland. Roland Gunslinger. Walter was the Randall Flagg man in black guy.
but he is Randall Flagg, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
It's all the same.
Um,
Anyway, go ahead.
so yeah, the that one is like this Western fantasy, which I wound up. I was like, that could be a book, and then I thought that could be a series.
Hey.
So I've written the first book called Shadow's Daughter, and it is the kickoff to what will be a 7 book series. That is like the overall. I'm calling it shoot, what do I call it? Shoot, I can't remember what the series is called. Something like Mage, Western Mage. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. But it's got magic in there. But it's
Tumbleweed
it's
May.
really, I love, like I had so much more fun writing this second one
Yeah.
than I did the first one. I don't even care if the first one does anything. I did send it off to several, like sent the first few chapters off
Yeah.
to literary agents
Yeah.
of that for that first book just to see. I've
Yeah.
gotten 3 rejections. but
Keep
it's
going.
still out there. Every
Roland's,
time I get a rejection, I send it to another one.
yeah, Roland's kept sending, and there's a whole bunch that passed her up for Harry Potter, like
So yeah,
11 or 14.
I'm gonna keep sending it out there to different agents and see if I can get represented by somebody. Um,
That's great, man. I can't wait to read it.
so yeah, you do you want it? I can
I
send
would
it to
love
you.
to. Yeah.
Which which one do you want, or do you want both of them?
Start me off with the first one.
All right. Yeah, I'll send you that one. And right now, like I've taken a break from the series. I'm writing. So April is there. I always try to do this A to Z challenge on my blog,
Yeah.
and so this year I've decided I'm going to do a series of short stories that make up one long narrative.
Oh, fun.
And I will admit it's derivative of Harry Potter, but I hope it's different enough that people give me the shadow of a doubt. It's called the Alphabet Academy.
Oh, yeah.
So like for each day is supposed to be A, B, C, D, and so the idea is that language, the written language, have certain magical affinities,
Oh,
and so like um it takes place. The main character is this girl named Mira, who she turned 16 and she has started manifesting certain magics, and she receives her letter, which I wasn't gonna do, but then I was like, you know what? You get accepted to a school, you're gonna get a letter.
pretty normal.
Now it doesn't come by owl; she just
Yeah.
gets it in the mail. She doesn't go there by train, but anyway, other than that, I think I can get away with the whole. She goes to a magic school and is learning more about her past, her parents. Her parents disappeared when she was very young, and she's been raised by her grandmother, and she's entering this world that she knows nothing about, uh, and about halfway through it, um, or a little more than halfway through it, like right, I just this morning I wrote the end chapter.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to get ahead of it so that it's ready to go in April
Yeah.
when it's time for the blog post to
Oh,
go on
nice.
there.
Nice.
So
Confusing middle.
that will be, yeah. Anybody interested in checking out that, it's I'm writing it as a young adult kind of story. Um, but yeah, confusingmiddle.com is where you'd be able to find it coming this April.
That's
Um,
awesome. That's
I
awesome.
love, dude. I've gotten the bug now. I want to
And the writing bug.
write full time,
Oh,
and
that's great.
if I could make that my job, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But
Well, keep at it, man. That's great. I look forward to reading your first book, man. So send it my
I
way.
figure eventually it'll hit somebody's desk, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is good. Let's give this guy an advance."
Let's do it. No, that's good. Well, do you want to do the wheel?
Of the wheel,
The wheel of time?
wheel of morality. It's gathered a lot of dust. It's just been sitting up there. All right, you ready? Tick 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 tick. On the red one. What does it say?
Oh, yes, Popcorn Psychology, Bella Swan. I think I'm going to really enjoy that
Now
one.
remember, we can't call it popcorn psychology. I forgot to change that on here.
Oh, sorry.
Popcorn
Yeah, that's right.
psychology already exists. They are a brilliant podcast. Go check them out. I've listened to a few of their episodes. They're actually really good.
What do you want to call
Um,
it? You want to call it,
the character couch.
the character couch.
And this has been on here so long now, it won't erase.
Oh, there you go.
All right, Bella Swan. So we'll do an episode about Bella Swan, and then you want to do another one? We'll hit two.
Yeah, hit two. Two shorts. This was a long one. We'll do two
Yeah, we
shorts.
did a long one. The next time we meet, we'll do two short ones.
Okay, so this is good because I think the last one we were supposed to do is Star Trek. So I think we need to do season three.
Is it season three?
I think it's three.
I thought we already did three.
Do we do three? Which one's the one where he's Locutus? Two.
That's the end of season three.
Okay, then four.
Okay, so we've already done four.
We
We'll
did
have
do
to look back. We'll have to look up. We'll communicate in the off time. I'll go back and look at our archives and see what we got. I want to say we've already done four too.
You're right because we did come back to it.
Yeah,
We did come back to it at the end.
because we dealt with like the family episode where he goes home to the vineyard and has a fight with his brother, and
That's right. Was that four?
yeah, that
Okay,
was
so
right
let's
after
so it's
Locutus.
five. We've got to do five.
Okay, all
So
right, yeah. So all right, so we'll have Bella Swan, the worst literary character in history.
Twilight,
Uh,
for those of you that don't know who we're talking about, Twilight.
she's awful. She is. You know,
It's not just
did
Kristen
you
Stewart.
did you read those books?
Oh, yeah, I read the books.
Yeah, I did too.
I read the book.
Um,
Kristen Stewart gets a lot of hate, and fair enough. Her lacking facial expressions are comical. And yet at the same time, you couldn't have picked a better person to actually depict the malaise Monday. I'm getting ahead of myself.
it's just horrible. I mean, everyone was like, "Are you Team Edward or are you Team Jacob?" Was anybody asking, "Are you Team Bella?" No, and there's a good reason for it. We'll get into that next time.
We're gonna in our couch potato. What is it? Couch
Our
council.
couch potato, character
Character
couch.
couch. Character couch. That's
That's right. All right. Well, that's it. Right? We're done.
yeah, we're done.
We're caught up. All
Yes.
right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in to this brand new episode. Sorry we've been gone for so long, but we're back.
We're back.
We hope to make this a regular thing again. Remember, come back next time. We'll do the character couch with Bella Swan, and then we'll get into Star Trek: The Next Generation, season 5.
Yeah.
Buckle up. All
Buckle up.
right. Have a great whatever it is, wherever you are.
See ya.